You know that feeling when you're scrolling through social media during the holidays and you see those picture-perfect family gatherings? The kind where everyone's wearing matching pajamas, the table looks like it came straight out of a magazine, and there's not a single burnt edge on the turkey? Well, Chrissy Teigen is here to remind us that even celebrities with personal chefs and unlimited budgets can turn the holidays into absolute chaos. And honestly, we love her for it. Today, we're diving into one of the most entertainingly disastrous holiday moments in recent celebrity history. This is a story about ambition, kitchen fires, last-minute grocery store runs, and why sometimes the best memories come from the meals that go completely sideways. So grab a snack, get comfortable, and let me tell you about the time Chrissy Teigen tried to create the perfect holiday dinner and ended up with something much more memorable instead. The setup. Let's set the scene here. It's the holiday season, and Chrissy Teigen, model, cookbook author, and social media queen, decides she's going to host an intimate family dinner. Now, when I say intimate, I mean by celebrity standards. We're talking maybe 20 people, just a casual gathering of her closest family and friends. Simple enough, right? Here's the thing about Chrissy. If you followed her on social media for any length of time, you know she's genuinely passionate about cooking. This isn't someone who just slaps their name on a cookbook and calls it a day. She actually spends hours in the kitchen. She experiments with recipes. She takes this stuff seriously. But she's also human. Very, very human. So Chrissy decides she's not just going to make dinner. No. She's going to make an entire feast from scratch with multiple proteins, elaborate side dishes, homemade desserts, the whole 9 yards. We're talking about the kind of menu that would make professional caterers nervous. And she decides to document the whole thing on social media. Now, this is where the story gets interesting, because Chrissy didn't just post the beautiful finished product like most celebrities would. She brought her followers along for the entire chaotic journey. Every triumph, every setback, every moment of panic when she realized she might have bitten off more than she could chew. Her husband, John Legend, is somewhere in the background, probably working on music or wrangling their kids. He's learned over the years that when Chrissy gets into cooking mode, the best thing he can do is stay out of the way and be ready to order takeout if necessary. The menu Chrissy planned was ambitious. She had a main turkey, a backup ham, 3 different types of potatoes, homemade stuffing with ingredients she'd sourced from multiple grocery stores, a green bean casserole from her grandmother's recipe, homemade cranberry sauce, fresh baked rolls, and at least 4 different pies. For 20 people. Most professional kitchens would need a full staff to pull this off. Chrissy was planning to do it mostly alone, with maybe some help from family members who were better at chopping vegetables than actually cooking. When things start going sideways. The day arrives. Chrissy wakes up early, full of optimism and caffeine. She's got her timeline written out. She knows exactly when each dish needs to go into the oven, when things need to be basted, when the rolls need to rise. It's a beautiful plan. And then the universe decides to have a little fun. The first sign of trouble comes when Chrissy realizes that her massive turkey and her backup ham cannot physically fit in the oven at the same time. Like it's not even close. She'd measured the turkey, sure, but she hadn't accounted for the fact that once you put a roasting pan around it and add all the vegetables, it basically becomes a heat-seeking space monster that demands the entire oven cavity for itself. So now she's got a decision to make. Does she cook them sequentially, which will throw off her entire timeline? Does she try to fire up the outdoor grill in December and hope for the best? Does she call a neighbor and ask to borrow their oven? Being Chrissy, she posts this dilemma on social media and asks her followers for advice. Within minutes, she's got thousands of suggestions, ranging from helpful to completely ridiculous. Someone suggests she cook the ham in the dishwasher. Someone else recommends she just order pizza and call it a day. She decides to go with the sequential cooking method, which means everything else on her timeline is now wrong. While she's recalculating cook times, she realizes she forgot to thaw the turkey properly. It's still partially frozen in the middle. Now, any experienced cook knows this is a problem. A big problem. You can't just shove a partially frozen turkey in the oven and hope for the best. Well, you can, but the results are going to be uneven at best and potentially dangerous at worst. Chrissy, in a moment of pure determination, decides she's going to speed thaw this bird, using every trick she can find on the internet. Cold water baths, hair dryers. At one point, she's genuinely considering whether sitting the turkey in the sun would help. John wanders through the kitchen at this point, takes one look at the scene, turkey in the sink, Chrissy wielding a hairdryer, recipes scattered everywhere, and very wisely says nothing. He just backs slowly out of the room. The smoke incident. So the turkey situation gets sorted eventually. It's not perfect, but it's in the oven, it's cooking, and Chrissy can finally move on to the other dishes. This is when the smoke incident happens. Chrissy had prepared this beautiful stuffing the night before. It had all these expensive ingredients: artisanal bread, organic herbs, specialty sausage from a butcher 3 towns over. She'd put it in a gorgeous ceramic baking dish, covered it carefully, and refrigerated it overnight. What she didn't realize is that when she took it out of the fridge to come to room temperature, she'd placed it on the stovetop. Not on a burner, mind you, just on the stovetop because counter space was at a premium. You can probably see where this is going. While she's busy checking the turkey and starting on the potatoes, one of her kids comes running through the kitchen. In the chaos, someone accidentally turns on one of the burners. Not the oven, the stovetop burner, the one directly under the ceramic dish full of stuffing. For a few minutes, nothing happens. The dish heats up gradually, and then suddenly the kitchen starts filling with smoke. She spins around, sees flames starting to lick up the sides of her beautiful ceramic dish. The stuffing isn't just cooking, it's actively trying to become charcoal. The artisanal bread has gone from golden to black in what feels like seconds. She shrieks. John runs in. The kids start yelling. The smoke alarm begins its piercing wail. It's complete pandemonium. John grabs the fire extinguisher while Chrissy frantically tries to turn off the burner and move the flaming dish. In the chaos, she grabs it with an oven mitt that's not quite thick enough and immediately drops it, sending burning stuffing across the kitchen floor. The smoke alarm is still screaming. The fire extinguisher makes everything worse by covering the kitchen in white powder. One of the kids is crying because they think the whole house is going to burn down. The family dog has fled to the upstairs bedroom and refuses to come out. And through it all, Chrissy is documenting this on her phone, posting videos of the disaster in real time, captioning them with increasingly desperate messages about how the holidays don't always go as planned. Eventually, they get the fire out. The kitchen is a mess. The stuffing is completely destroyed. There's fire extinguisher residue on every surface. The smoke alarm finally stops screaming after John removes the battery. And Chrissy just starts laughing. Here's the thing about Chrissy Teigen that makes her so relatable. She doesn't give up, and she doesn't pretend things aren't perfect when they're not. After the smoke clears, literally, she takes stock of the situation. The turkey is somehow still okay in the oven. The hammer is waiting its turn. Most of the side dishes haven't been started yet. The stuffing is completely destroyed. Her kitchen looks like a disaster movie, and her guests are arriving in 4 hours. Most people would admit defeat at this point. Order catering, make reservations at a restaurant, something. Not Chrissy. She posts a video declaring that this meal is happening, fire or no fire. Then she rallies the troops. John gets assigned to cleanup duty. Her mom starts working on a backup stuffing recipe using whatever ingredients they can find in the pantry. Friends who were coming as guests are called and politely asked to bring side dishes. The energy shifts from stressed to almost giddy, because here's what Chrissy realizes. The perfect holiday meal was never going to be as memorable as this disaster. She pivots her entire approach. Instead of trying to create this flawless, Instagram-worthy dinner, she embraces the chaos. She sets up a buffet-style serving area and announces to her arriving guests that they're going to have an adventure. The turkey comes out of the oven, and against all odds, it's actually pretty good. Maybe not magazine cover perfect, but delicious. The backup stuffing, thrown together from random ingredients, turns out to be surprisingly tasty. The side dishes people brought create this eclectic, mismatched feast that somehow works. Someone suggests they make this a new tradition, disaster potluck, where everyone brings something and nobody expects perfection. By the end of the night, Chrissy's kitchen is still a mess. There are dishes everywhere. The smell of smoke extinguisher hasn't quite left the air. The dog is still upstairs, traumatized. But her dining room is full of people laughing, eating, and sharing stories about their own holiday disasters. Because it turns out that when you're honest about the chaos, people feel comfortable sharing their own. Chrissy posts one final video that night. She's exhausted, there might be fire extinguisher powder in her hair, and she's eating pie directly from the tin with a serving spoon. She talks about how this wasn't the holiday dinner she planned, but it might have been the best one she's ever hosted. Because here's what she learned. Perfection is boring. Perfection doesn't give you stories to tell. Perfection doesn't make people feel comfortable enough to be themselves. The holidays aren't about flawless execution. They're about being together, laughing at disasters, and remembering that the burnt stuffing and smoke alarms make for better memories than anything Pinterest could ever offer. So the next time your holiday meal doesn't go according to plan, remember Chrissy Teigen and her flaming stuffing. Remember that celebrities with unlimited resources still set their kitchens on fire. Remember that the imperfect moments are often the ones we treasure most. And maybe keep that fire extinguisher handy, just in case. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story of holiday chaos, hit that like button and subscribe for more celebrity tales that remind us we're all human. Drop a comment below with your own holiday disaster story. I want to hear about the time you forgot to turn on the oven or served raw turkey or whatever chaos your kitchen has witnessed. Until next time, may your holidays be merry, your fires be extinguished quickly, and your smoke alarms have fresh batteries.